from an undisclosed location. You know him, you love him. It's Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker. Parker, how you doing out there?
I'm doing all right. If I drop off from you guys, I got a little bit of a connection issue, but just working away.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us on our NFL 2022 draft reaction for round one.
And what a round one it was.
Oh, my gosh, do we ever have so much to talk about. But before we get started, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button down below on YouTube. Go ahead and give us a rumble on Rumble. Follow us on all your favorite podcasting platforms and on Twitter and Instagram. Newberry, so much to talk about. We're not even going to be able to get it all in one day.
Probably not. But just real quickly before we go pick by pick, Parker, just give us some general thoughts about round one last night.
I mean, one of the craziest first rounds of the draft I've ever seen. I was at a Titans draft party, and I was trying to keep up with the trades. After you got to pick 10, it just went nuts. Like every single trade, back to back to back to back. And of course, a big story there, we'll talk about it too, is quarterbacks falling, people not reaching for them. It was just the night, in a word, crazy.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. I mean, I think everybody started off kind of like, what in the heck? And then by the end of the night, we had tears flowing down some people's faces.
I mean, there may have been tears in multiple NFL cities last night, and it may, Parker, start with number 1 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trayvon Walker.
I've been harping on this for so long. This is an absolutely terrible pick. Jacksonville just did this 2 years ago. They picked a guy in the first round based on traits, and what has he done? He played, I think, like in 8 games last year. I just cannot stand this pick. I know they traded into the 20s to pick up Devin Lloyd. I would rather than taking Devin Lloyd at number 1 than taking Trayvon Walker. I cannot stress how much I disagree with this pick.
Okay. Blake, did you have any initial thoughts, like a gut instant reaction to the number 1 pick?
It just seemed like a typical Jags pick to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we weren't far off from it. I just didn't think that it was the route that they needed to go. I just felt like, particularly after listening to Parker's rant on him, it just didn't seem like the right fit for me. Didn't seem like the right move. But what else do we expect whenever we're talking about Duval?
So Trent Baalke was asked by Jacksonville media. They said, look, we don't want to have our team picking at number 1 ever again. And Baalke's response was, I can guarantee one thing. I will never be picking for the Jaguars at number 1 again.
Oh, my goodness.
And I had to laugh about that.
Oh, my goodness.
What does Baalke know that we don't know? Or maybe that we already know? My instant reaction was sigh. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my thing. I mean, did we expect anything else?
I wrote down the word sigh, and we'll see. I mean, it's going to be another one of those projects, and
everything's always a project, it seems like, down there.
Well, it has to be. It's a horrible team.
I don't know why they keep taking the project. That's why you're back-to-back number 1 picks. Like, just hit the ball in the fairway. Like, you don't have to pick the driver out every single time. Hit the 5-iron, take Aiden Hutchinson, and move on.
Well, there was a team that took Aiden Hutchinson right next. Yeah, at number 2, the Detroit Lions take the hometown boy.
Yeah, they did.
And I say thumbs up.
They got a good pick. They did. They got the hometown boy, like you said. I mean, I think that goes a long way. Particularly, he's the kind of guy that'll be a really good poster boy for the organization. So, I mean, it's good for them, I think.
They made that pick in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. What did the announcer say? That they are sprinting to the podium.
The assist by Duval. And then we get to number 3, the Houston Texans take Derek Stingley Jr. My gut reaction was, wow, they're going for it. They shocked us here with a cornerback.
Yeah, that was the first of many shocks, I guess. I didn't see that.
I mean, they're in a division where they got to cover Christian Kirk, AJ Brown. Why not take? Wait a minute. Never mind. But yeah.
Oh, no, the first dig of the day.
Jeez, man.
Hey, Stingley, though, I would have argued should have been the number 1 pick. Like, if you were going to get a home run guy, if you were really swinging for the fences, Jacksonville should have taken Stingley or a receiver. If you were really like, hey, let's get somebody that can change the face of our franchise, it's not a project edge. It's one of these top-notch corners or one of these top-notch wide receivers.
I swear.
Yeah, I don't think Stingley's a bad move. I mean, he's fine. I mean,
to the last second, I was saying just do Jameson Williams.
Yeah,
for the Jag, just do it.
I wish.
Stingley, I think it's going to be a good pick. I just don't know or even trust the Texans' defensive scheme. Is he really going to be that important in a zone scheme? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Trevor's going to carve him up.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan's going to dink and dunk, and
Tannehill doesn't have anybody to throw with. Tannehill doesn't have anybody to throw to, so we'll get into that later.
Good luck tackling the king there, Stingley. Then the Jets go with the first of multiple picks of the night, Sauce Gardner.
Hey, Sauce is always a winner for me, man. Dude, he's got some style.
What he was wearing was a winner.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
The hot sauce?
Yeah.
Hot sauce review with Sauce.
Man, I know. You know what? We need to make that happen, Newberry.
Yes, sir.
We've got to make that happen. We got to get the sauce review with Sauce. Man, I like it. But yeah, I mean, he's a character. I think he's going to be fine there. Yeah, I'm all for that.
Man, never allowed a touchdown in college. I mean, I still can't get over that. 3 years.
It doesn't matter what level you play at. I mean, that's just impressive.
It is, and he's going to be great for the Jets. The Jets really made out in this draft.
Another team with multiple
yeah,
picks. The New York Giants, staying in the state of New York. They come back and take what we think may be the number one player, number one prospect, Kayvon Thibodeaux. I like the aggressiveness.
Yeah.
I think he should have been the number one player. The guy was picked to be number one for 3 years. And they got him at 5. And, man, he looked so much fun when he came out there. Like, he had so much energy. And the Giants, again, man, New York really made a mark in this draft. And Thibodeaux, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think that's a home run hit for them. It really is.
And we here at the DDS crew completely on board and agree with the Panthers not going quarterback at number 6. But Parker, lo and behold, the lucky sons of bitches in Carolina get
not
offensive tackle that they want.
Any of them.
Yeah.
They could all two of them have been number 1 overall picks.
Exactly. And they take the road grader.
Yeah.
The man from North Carolina State, Ike Ekwonu.
Man, they just made out like bandits.
And they didn't have to do anything. They just sat back and watched the stuff going on in front of them.
I think that they literally were sitting there watching like, he's still available?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay, we'll take him. You got his number? We didn't even write it down because we didn't think he was going to be available.
Their GM said when the Texans took Stingley, he was like, oh, great. 3 more picks to us. One of those 3 guys is going to be there. And he was like, when it showed up to us, it was all 3 of them.
I know. Then it's like, now I have to make a decision between the 3. And it's like, shit.
Pick of the litter, baby. Well, that brings us back to another New York team, the Giants.
Yep.
Circle back and take an offensive lineman. They take Alabama's Evan Neal. Monster man.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Neal.
He is exactly. He is a mountain of a man. He looks like he is ready to play right now. Obviously, the NFL is a different game, but man, it still baffles me that all 3 were available at this point.
And you got it right, Bradley. Mr. Neal. You do not want to call that man anything else, but it's obvious how the Giants are trying to rebuild this. I mean, they're going inside out, right? They got Thibodeaux, Neal. Like, they are re-changing the trenches there.
It's good. Good strategy.
Good place to start.
Here's the first one that we nailed here at the DDS crew. Drake London going to the Atlanta Falcons. Told you.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. I mean, this is their new Julio, right? This is the go up and get it guy that's got slower than Julio, but he's got that go up and get it type of thing. And good thing because, Marcus isn't very accurate. So just throw it up near this guy. Let's see what happens.
Yep. At number 9, Seattle didn't go quarterback. We kind of hinted that maybe someone would trade up to the quarterback spot. That did not happen. But yet Seattle just stayed with their board.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to all these tackles falling, Parker, they take Charles Cross.
And I think that's why. I mean, right? Did anybody expect this guy to be here?
Nope.
Still, we all thought he was going to be gone. So, yeah, take best guy available and move on. I think it's simple as that.
Yeah. And then rounding out the top 10, Blake, the DDS crew comes through again. Wide receiver Garrett Wilson going to the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, we had it there the whole time. So I mean, it's kind of we weren't really far off with many of our picks. Well, with some of our picks. So it's kind of impossible once they start trading. But yeah, definitely a good pick for them. Now, if they just had somebody that could throw the ball to them.
Yeah, that's true. They do still need a quarterback. No, this is a great one. This is the easiest pick I think that we predicted, just because like they were trying to trade for wide receiver all season, so they had to go somebody here. And with London off the board, that seemed like the obvious pick.
That rounds out the top 10, and now the craziness starts.
Yeah,
At
here we
pick
go.
11, we start doing some funky trades. The Saints having multiple first-round picks. They trade up here and take Chris Olave, and my initial thought was, why? Must have loved him in the draft process is what I wrote down, but my gut reaction was, why trade up for this?
There had to be something that they, in an interview that they did or a visit, something struck a chord. I don't get it, but whatever.
I literally looked at the person beside me when they made the trade. I was like, oh, that's Jameson Williams.
Right. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I just thought. But then to take Olave, which I like. Olave's great. He's going to be a good number 2. I thought he might be there just when they were going to pick. Maybe they just got some intel somebody else was going to get him. But, hey, they are notoriously aggressive, and they go after who they want. They have for years.
So, yeah, I mean, we could have all seen them trading up for Jameson Williams, but by God, since they didn't, right after that, here come the Detroit Lions trading up, and they take Jameson Williams. My initial thought was, damn, they must love Jared Goff, right?
I mean, they're trying to give him some weapons, it looks like. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jameson Williams is a fine player. Anybody that goes to the city of Detroit to play football, I worry about their future. That's all I'm going to say.
Is that, or they hate all the quarterbacks in this class, or think they can get one later, or hey, let's get all these great talent out there, and then when golf sucks again, we have a high pick next year. We'll get our guy.
I think these teams are thinking they can get a steal on one of these quarterbacks later.
We'll see. I think my prediction is the first time we see Jameson Williams will be on our TV sets right after we have Thanksgiving. It'll be the Detroit Lions versus the Jacksonville Jaguars on Thanksgiving Day, 11:30 Central, baby.
Okay.
That's when we see him for the first time.
Fantastic.
No, here come the Eagles. The Eagles.
By the way, that's going to be such a pool noodle game. It's ridiculous.
The Eagles trade up, and holy Lord, you know who they're trading up for. Come give me a hug, baby.
The big man.
Jordan Davis. My reaction was, wow, holy shit. Is what I have written down.
The Eagles in this draft so far are trying to, so far we'll kind of get into draft grades later, but they're being aggressive. We'll just say that they're aggressively pursuing what they want to do.
This makes perfect sense for an Eagles team. This is kind of what they do. They're the Fletcher Cox of the world. Just put a big man in there and see what happens. So, yeah, I'm down. I still have questions about Jordan Davis. He plays 2 downs. You traded up to get a guy that plays only 2 out of 3 downs. So he's awesome, but we'll see.
He's awesome when he decides to play. They were showing some on TV where he just kind of engaged with the offensive line and stood there.
Because he's fat and out of shape, and he has an issue with that. I mean, you could see him in games like against Georgia where they were running the hurry up so they couldn't get him off field. He was struggling. But again, NFL, get him with a NFL, coaches and things like that, and he could just be a monster.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we go, Parker had instant reaction on the number 14 pick. The Ravens stayed put and took safety Kyle Hamilton. Is he the next Ed Reed?
I hate the Ravens. I really do. But I got to hand it to them. They are one of the best drafting offseason teams, maybe the best when it comes to like analytics in the NFL. This guy, a lot of people have him as a top 3 player in the draft, and he fell to 14 to Baltimore. Some teams just have it perfectly, the players that fall to them, and this is one of them.
Yeah, was this the guy that we were all on a text thread and Parker said, of course he falls to the freaking Ravens. Yeah, it never seems to fail that some teams they always get the luck of the draw. There's always that guy that growing up that everything just falls in their lap, and the Ravens are that guy for us.
Well, the next team didn't want anyone to fall into their laps. They were aggressive and traded up again. The Texans come calling right after this. I'm like, what did the Texans have in mind? But Parker, what they had in mind was Kenyon Green, and I put down feels like a reach.
It was a reach, but they've got to get some offensive line. They're absolutely terrible last year. They were dead last. The Houston Texans were in the rushing attack. Not only were they dead last in the league, they were dead last for the history of their franchise. I think their leading rusher like 400 yards. They got to get something for protection for the Davis Mills experience, and it is a reach. But I mean, I would have just taken Zion.
Yeah, I mean, they got to start somewhere, right? I mean, like you said, they got to do something to help Davis Mills out, and the big guy from A&M. I mean, I think it'll work, right? It's just somewhere to start. It's something.
We'll see. Commanders are next here. They another reaction I put with this one again. Maybe it was because the wide receiver run, but it felt like another reach. Jahan Dotson, Penn State. We didn't even have him in the first round.
I know. I didn't know how to react to that.
I think this is a major reach because, yeah, he's good. Most people have him 5 or 6 on their big board as far as receivers go. But, like, the difference between, let's say, Jahan Dotson and Sky Moore, like, maybe you had Jahan Dotson over him, but it was not, oh, my God, we need to trade up and get them because there's massive gap between the two. You could have just stayed where you were and gotten Moore, Christian Watson, or maybe Jahan Dotson. It just felt it felt like a reach. And, hey, Washington, go figure.
The Chargers are next. They look to help protect their quarterback in Herbert. They take Zion Johnson. Feels like it was a very targeted pick to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, we thought that this was going to be who the Titans were going to take with their pick. But things obviously changed, and we will continue to see them change here immediately after this pick. But yeah, clearly they're trying to protect him, to protect Herbert and give him a little more time to throw. And I think it's a good pickup for him. I really do.
Yeah, I agree.
So next pick, all of a sudden I see Titans trade.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, this is where everybody in Nashville goes, holy shit.
But you know what my instant reaction was when I saw Titans trade? I'm like, they're doing it. They're going quarterback right here because a quarterback has not come off the board yet. And all this black cloud around Tannehill, that was my instant reaction. Okay, they're going to go quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, my short, quick reaction, because, guys, we're going to be reacting specifically to the Titan stuff right after we finish recording this one. But my instant reaction was, this is not. I didn't have an easy feeling about it because my thing is their pick that I thought they were going to get just went. So I took that as an omen. I'm like, oh boy, so they're about to pull the ripcord here on something.
I was all over the places. I feel like I'm going through all the stages of grief and we're just walking it down a different way. My opinion I'll get more into this, but it has greatly changed from the initial reaction to where I sit now, just having time to think about it. But I did think it was going to be Trayvon only because I saw some random weird report that they were moving AJ Brown, because if I didn't see that, I would have thought like, hey, this is quarterback. But it's kind of weird about this. If you look at this, we had 6 receivers taken already. I honestly think that 4 or 5 of these teams might have got their top receiver on their board.
Yeah,
which is weird to say.
It could have been. I mean, when you were there at the draft party live, was the sense of whoa, or did people already know what the Titans had given away? Because I didn't, not in the moment. I didn't know that what they had traded to get up there. I just thought it was draft picks, and that's why I thought quarterback. Did they know where you were?
They knew because I was telling everyone. I was like, "Hey, did y'all see?" But the rumor, and it came out pretty quick because Mike Keith, they were broadcasting from where I was, so everybody could hear it. But it was just sadness,
yeah, that's
and anguish and depressed. And I feel sorry for Treylon Burks, man. He's getting just draped over the coal. Like this, that's another thing to talk about. But
yeah, we're going to get into that in our Titans reaction, because there's a point to be made there about that.
But Treylon Burks was the pick, and then once I learned, they had to.
Yeah,
and I actually like the pick.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Treylon Burks is a great pick. He really is. But we'll talk about was the price we paid for it worth it.
And the pick for Treylon Burks himself, I mean, if you look at pre-draft analysis, if you go through and they do comps in the wide receivers, almost every reputable comp I looked at from people that are known, he's A.J. Brown 2.0. They almost had the exact same measurables at the combine.
Yep. The next pick, DDS Sportstalk once again nailed it. Not going to say much here. Trevor Penning goes to the Saints. Yeah, we're out of order a little bit, but give us a bone there.
Yeah, really.
Right after that'd
be number 3, by the way.
Parker
number 3
at number 20. DDS comes through with number 4 that we get right. Yo boy, small hands Kenny Pickett is the savior of the Steelers.
Why make this pick? Even if you love Kenny, even if he doesn't have tiny baby hands, like. I don't understand. Put him and Trubisky in the same room. They're the same guy. Like they're not. If one of them vastly better than the other one, it's wasting a pick. It makes zero sense.
Totally agree.
I'll tell you, my wife had some instant reactions during the entire draft process leading up to pick 20. Every time they would show Pickett and his family, she's like, "Uh-oh, their girlfriend's looking a little more mad, a little more upset. She's no longer holding his arm." It looked like a divorce was about to happen right there on the screen as he kept falling. And falling
we will. We'll put a card up here in the corner here and link it to our mock draft so you can see Parker's rant on Kenny Pickett.
I'm just saying. Also, you don't draft a quarterback in the first round and instantly not know who your starter is. Like he's still not the start. Like you don't make that pick. Like unless he is your clear-cut starter, you don't make the pick.
I think they made a statement right now. I think that was their statement, but we'll see.
Hey, the Chiefs trade up. They obviously smell something here that they want, that they like. They felt something maybe had dropped. They see some value in Trent McDuffie at quarterback.
He dropped some, and after those first 2 guys, I think he was the obvious pick, and they need us a corner, so I applaud it. I think it's a good pick.
Yep, I'm fine with it. I mean, I just the daggum Chiefs. Dadgummit.
Okay, Green Bay, here's your time to shine. Make Aaron Rodgers and your fan base happy. You take someone we didn't even have in the first round, Quay Walker. Green Bay's loving this.
Worst pick of the draft. This guy's graded like a 3rd-round player. He was climbing up boards. He might be the 7th best defensive player on Georgia's team. Right behind Trayvon. I think it's stupid. I don't even understand why. I don't get it. I don't even know what to say.
You've said enough. Okay, and then the Bills. The Bills are here next after the Packers, and they see another cornerback in this first round of cornerbacks going. They're looking at the Florida Gator, Mr. Elam. I wrote down that he is a baller. I kind of like it. When we were discussing mocking to the Bills, we did end up taking the running back here. You remember? But my argument was, if that debacle of a playoff game between Buffalo and Kansas City, where it seemed like they couldn't cover anyone, I was trying to argue for something, maybe a safety, a corner, but didn't know the right name. But they must have loved him because it feels like it was targeted here, Parker.
He had to be, because this was the last one. After Elam, it's kind of a drop-off. You have Booth, but he has some major injury concerns. There's a clear tier. So they obviously wanted a corner, and if they didn't get this guy, there was just a massive difference. So, yeah, good for them. They had to move up to get him because he probably wasn't going to keep falling.
Cowboys go with Tyler Smith. I just put, it doesn't feel right. It's just blah.
I mean, he's a good run blocker, so maybe Zeke gets back on track.
I don't know. Who really knows what everybody's thinking out there in Jerry land? I don't know. The jury is still out, in my opinion, on where that franchise stands at the moment with how they're going to move forward.
Well, Ravens follow that up. They come up here and they take Tyler Lindenbaum. He's going to be plug and play. He may be the center for the next decade.
Daggum Ravens.
This is what I was talking about. They did it again. In this draft, we can argue who the best quarterback is. We can argue who the best wide receiver is. We can argue who the best defensive lineman is. We can't argue who the best safety is, and we can't argue who the best center is, and they got them both.
What do you think the Ravens are just sitting back? They're kind of like, they're watching everybody take these picks, and they're like, okay, we'll take him. Like, it just seems like they're playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers this year. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, right after them, here are the Jets again. And the Jets come back, and I think the Jets had an impressive first round here.
Oh, no shit.
They see they see a man that we had mocked in the top 13 and a lot of these pundits thought, hey, this is a top 6 pick.
Yeah.
With Jermaine Johnson, it feels good to be a Jets fan. I'd
imagine it does today. My freaking the DDS Instagram feed all of a sudden is flooded with daggum Eagles and Jets stuff coming in left and right. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. Again, how much of these guys that we had going earlier are just falling into some people's laps.
The Jets should sit back, the fans, and just let the day wash over them, because this is going to be the best day the Jets have for the next 365 days. Because, it's all hope and happiness. I mean, this guy, Jermaine Johnson, there was smoke from real pundits that know what they're talking about that he was going to be going to the Jets at 4. And they pop him at 26. Great. I mean, it's easy to win the draft if you get 3 picks, but they made some good ones. And
after a long nap, Trent Baalke wakes back up. And he's like, wait a minute. The Jets are trading back up. The Lions have traded back up. I've got the most picks in the NFL draft. By God, I'm trading back up. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, so what are they trading up for? That was my first initial thought was, what is worth whatever you traded, which was your second pick and a 4th, but what is worth coming up here? I mean, what is it? They end up taking linebacker Devin Lloyd, and I don't have any problems with Devin Lloyd in the pick. It's just the thought about it. Are you just doing it to do it, or is it really worth it? I've got some stats I'll share.
It kind of felt like they were just wanting to join the party.
Maybe.
That's kind of just exactly how you described it. That, hey, we've got a bunch of picks. Let me trade up. It's like it's a video game to him.
I mean, I have no problem. Devin Lloyd is the best linebacker in the draft. I mean, Green Bay took the 8th best linebacker in the draft 6 picks earlier. But what I didn't understand, I talked to Bradley about this earlier, was they don't have. What are you doing for Trevor? I thought it was a receiver. I thought it was offense. I just can't believe both picks were defense in the first round. I didn't understand why it wasn't somebody to help your star quarterback that obviously needs some weapons around him.
Wait just a moment until you hear these stats.
Oh boy.
Did they help both their defense and Trevor Lawrence at the same time? May I present Devin Lloyd's stats from last year? Devin Lloyd, 111 tackles, 22 tackles for loss. He would have been the leading tackler on the Jacksonville Jaguars, 108 by Miles Jack. Devin Lloyd, just last year, 7 sacks. He would have been number 2, only behind Josh Allen, who had 7.5. Devin Lloyd, last year, he had, Blake, 4 interceptions. He would have blown out everyone on the Jags defense, had been undisputed number 1. Only thing close to him was 2 by Tyson Campbell. Devin Lloyd last year, he had 2 touchdowns scored. He would have been second on the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, only behind Marvin Jones Jr. at 4. So do I say maybe they did help Trevor Lawrence? This guy's a football player. We said it in the prediction show. He's a football player. I don't mind the pick, but it's time to help out Trevor.
I agree perfectly. So again, not a bad pick.
Just tells you how bad my team is. When you start thinking about his stats,
we've got a lot of comments about our respective teams.
And then the Packers stay put. They make their whole fan base happy once again. DDS crew gets it right. Devontae Wyatt.
I mean, what else can you say?
Told you.
I mean, we're running up, legendary numbers here.
Parker's fourth best Georgia defensive player, ahead of.
Hey, yeah, they should have taken the other guy. See, Devontae 6 picks earlier and taken a receiver here. I think it blows my mind that the Packers and the Chiefs, two teams that lost their best receivers. Ignore that noise. Two teams that lost their best receivers. They go deep into both picks. It's just unbelievable.
Oh, and then NFL Nation can't get enough of what happens next here. Here come the Patriots. Oh, big bad Patriots.
Oh, here we go.
They want a piece of this draft action, and they're looking at Chattanooga, Tennessee. And they're taking offensive lineman Cole Strange in what could be the strangest first round pick of the whole draft.
Somebody's going to have to explain this one to me. I mean, who am I to question Bill Belichick? But goodness gracious, I don't get it.
They traded out at 21, and Belichick came out afterwards and told reporters that even if they made that pick at 21, that's who they were going to take. So they traded back, and that they heard another team was going to take him. So that's why they went ahead and took him there. I call complete and total BS on that. I think Bill Belichick wants to be the smartest guy in the room and wants to prove it. If you go to look at expert consensus on where this guy would have been drafted, it was around 75.
Woo!
So,
how about that?
So, I mean, think how much later they probably could have got him, but who knows? You're right. But we're all sitting here saying, who are we to question Bill Belichick? If this was any other team, I would be sitting here roasting them.
Yep.
I mean, could this be the best draft pick out of Chattanooga since Terrell Owens?
I don't think there's. I don't know how much we have to work with as far as a body of work. But,
how many headlines on papers today say strange pick?
Strange pick. Cole Strange.
Nice.
And then rounding out the first round, we've got the Chiefs took George Karlaftis. You said muscle man. The Bengals stay and take a safety, Daxton Hill, and the Vikings are there for Lewis Seen. I didn't have any reaction to any of it.
I didn't either. I was kind of uninterested. Yeah, at that point, after somewhere in the neighborhood of pick 16, I kind of everything was kind of a blur for me.
But, yes, it was. It's like the world was on fire in the 20s.
Locally, mine shifted somewhere else, but stay tuned. That's another video coming out very shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be probably turning the camera right back on here in just a few minutes. But guys, you got anything else before we wrap it up here?
A lot of players left out there in the second round, so today's going to be really interesting.
There are a lot of names, perceived a lot of value. Our hometown team is pick number 3 today.
Yep.
So you need John Robinson, you need to win the fan base back. We're going to talk about that on our next video. There are a lot of hurting people, a lot of hurt feelings today.
Absolutely. But hey, guys, appreciate you joining us today for our round 1 reaction to the 2022 NFL draft. A lot of strange things happened today, but hey, stick around for our Titans reaction. We're going to kind of give a specific reaction to them coming up here very, very shortly. But while we're at it, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button down below on YouTube. Give us a rumble on Rumble. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all your favorite podcast platforms, as well as on Instagram at the Dadco Podcast and on Twitter at, not the Dadco Podcast, excuse me. I keep calling it Dadco Podcast, DDS Sportstalk. We'll get it right here. Check us out on Instagram at the DDS Sportstalk, Instagram and Twitter. Guys, if that's all you got, that's all I got. We good? DDS out.